In the violent landscape of Chicago's East Side, reputations are often built on shadows, whispers, and rumors that travel faster than facts. But every once in a while, a name appears that isn't built on rumors at all. But for Jeffrey Harris, known as Bloodhound Lil Jeff, his reputation wasn't built on speculation. It was verified in blood. And that's what made people pay attention. Emerging from 79th in Maryland, an area widely known as Drill City, Jeff became the face of a new, terrifying era of Chicago drill culture. Not just music, but something much darker. This wasn't just about music anymore. It was about presence, fear, and a name that carried weight in the streets before it ever trended online. A name people were already scared to say out loud. He wasn't just a rapper trying to act tough. He was already seen as dangerous long before he stepped into a booth. Which raises the question, how did he get like this? A self-proclaimed demon, Jeff openly claimed responsibility for 11 lives in less than 2 years. A number that, if true, would surpass even the most feared figures like King Von. And that's where the story starts getting uncomfortable. And that's what made his story different. Because this wasn't entertainment anymore. This wasn't someone pretending to live the life. This was someone documenting it. Let's be real. No one just wakes up and becomes a killer overnight. There's always a story behind it. A series of moments that change everything. So what turned Lil Jeff into who he became? Jeff's story didn't begin with violence. It began with potential. But that potential didn't last long. Raised by a single mother, he was originally known as a hooper, a kid dedicated to basketball. For a moment, it looked like he might actually make it out.
Around that time,
you was doing the soldier boy.
I was trying to play basketball, but that's around the time I ain't make the varsity team. So at 16 was when I was realizing this shit real. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. Cause after that point, it's like once you don't make that team, it's over.
At just 14 years old, Jeff's life took a traumatic turn. His home was shot up and then set on fire due to his older brother's gang ties. In the chaos, a bullet reportedly flew directly past his face. By 18, he hopped off the porch, fully stepping into street life. He was guided by his older brother, Jay Boogie, a founding member of the Bloodhound crew, who introduced him to the realities and rules of that world. And once you step in, it's hard to step out. Unlike many rappers who gain fame and then adopt a street image, Jeff was already living it. But everything changed after one moment, in March 2023. This is where the story takes a dark turn. That's when his cousin and close friend, Z Money, was killed. And this wasn't just another loss. Gunned down on the 1,300 block of East 79th Street, reportedly hit with over 29 shots. It was brutal, even by street standards. But what made it worse was who was responsible. Z Money was allegedly backdoored, betrayed by people considered allies over something as small as a stolen chain. Betrayal hits different than anything else. And for Jeff, this was the moment he changed. In a chilling show of loyalty and commitment, he and his twin, Q50, tattooed Z Money's name on their trigger fingers and above their eyes. A decision that would define everything after. Lil Leal, June 2023. A 19-year-old Trap City member killed inside a rideshare in Little Italy.
It says he hit the gas when someone standing outside of the car started shooting. He rushed going to the hospital where he was pronounced dead.
I was running stop signs in intersections to get away. So at one intersection, I had to stop it because there was a car coming through, and then I turned to him and said, "Hey, I'm going to take you to the hospital." And he said, "Okay." Then the next time I stopped, I had to stop at a light because there was two cars coming through the intersection, so I couldn't run it immediately. And I looked back then, and he wasn't moving anymore.
Jeff later hopped on IG Live to brag about it.
Go ask my ops that Marco Drake put shit in park. Go ask my ops that Marco Drake, his ass ain't making fuck. Go ask my ops that Marco Drake, his ass ain't get out that car. You know that? I was right there, you know that?
Go, bitch, we set shit up. When I ran up on that car, his ass was up and he...
Monty and Lil Rob, January 2024. Nobody expects to get robbed by people they're standing right next to. But that's exactly what happened to Bloodhound Lil Jeff, and what happened next made it even worse. Jeff was just in the lobby of an apartment building, chilling with Monty and Rob. No tension, no warning signs, just regular conversation. Then they asked to see his watch. Simple request, right? Jeff didn't think twice. He handed it over like it was nothing. But in a split second, everything flipped. They took off, ran straight for the stairs, and they weren't alone either. There were more people with them, already in position. It was planned. Jeff was left standing there, realizing he just got played. Later on, Jeff addressed the whole situation himself, trying to clear the air. And he wasn't joking around, he was dead serious. He swore on everything, basically saying if he was lying, let the consequences hit him right then and there.
I've been served this announcement. On my dead grandmother's head, if I'm lying, I'm down. God could come pull me out this car right now. I never took a dollar from nothing. Said, let me take a picture, this, that, and that. I look up, taking off down the stairs with 5 more extra. I'm like, damn, I thought it was gangster. The whole time I'm right there still whooping with him. I'm telling them we could keep this gangster, be gangster, and I respect it's gonna be what it's gonna be. Just keep this gangster. One gangster. Now look, they said, I got mercy and money all roses and teddy bears.
From his perspective, there was no setup on his side. He thought they just wanted to look at the watch, maybe take a picture. That's it. But instead, they ran off with it like it was a lick. And what really got to him was the principal. But it didn't stop there. Just a few days later, Monty pops up in a BKN vlog on Word from the Trenches. And this is where it gets disrespectful. In the middle of the video, Monty FaceTimes Jeff, not to squash anything, not to talk it out, but to laugh. He's on camera, smiling, flexing the same watch they took, showing it off like a trophy. On the other end of the call, Jeff is heated. You can hear it in his voice.
Like I said, shout out Baby Drill, shout out my big cousin Cho, 2 Feet Bino, shit, really the whole 4L gang. Like I fuck with the whole 4L. Shout out Young Nudie, and my cousin too, all my folk down there in the 8. This going on for real.
You ain't got nobody in mind like you gotta fuck with like industry wise like shit.
Really, like, I ain't gonna lie, twin. Like,
good, man. We got JL, man.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I ain't gonna lie.
Put that J in there.
Look, only artist I really wanna with right now is probably Big 30, goddamn.
How much that is on y'all wrist right there, man?
Hold on, y'all. Hold on.
So now the real question is, was that moment the reason everything escalated after that? Or was it already heading there no matter what? 2 high school students ambushed in broad daylight outside Innovations High School in the middle of the day.
And a group of individuals exited said vehicles, fired multiple times, striking 2 of the teenage students of Innovations High School.
No fear at all. The boldness of the attack shocked many, and Jeff later mocked the incident in his lyrics, which made it even more disturbing.
Just wanna eat dick cause they know I smoke pot. We really spank shit, turns out into za.
D-Money and Lil Deuce, November 2023. Victims of a double homicide found inside a car. Jeff allegedly referenced this hit using a crown emoji, another mark on the scoreboard. Baby KD, May 2024. Believed to be his 11th victim. Shortly after, Jeff went live stating he was now on his toes because he didn't have enough fingers left to count. That's when people realized how far this had gone. Other alleged victims, names like Lil Guta, Clay, and Black from rival groups such as Evans Mob and Hit Squad are frequently tied to his tally by street historians. And the list kept growing. What truly separated Lil Jeff from others wasn't just his actions. It was how he thought. It was his mindset. And it was different. He didn't hide behind the lifestyle. He embraced it fully. He leaned into it, almost like he was proud of it. He openly talked about creating something called a drill school, where the requirement to even sit in a seat was having at least 2 bodies.
I'm taking the killing school. Class start
next week. You gotta at least have 2 bodies though. For I ain't coming with no. You ain't got shit. I can't work with no beginners, folks. You gotta at least have a 2. I'm gonna give y'all 2 minimum. A 2. I'm gonna start at 2 minimum, cause y'all know why I'm gonna start at 2 minimum. Now I'm just doing it for a tradition. I'm gonna start at 2 minimum, man. 2, you gotta have a minimum of 2. No, anything, you gotta have 2. You gotta have a minimum of 2 of them bitches to come to school. You gonna sit your dumb ass in this seat, and whatever I say, do it. If you do anything scary, bitch.
That alone tells you everything you need to know. And you know what's crazy? How comfortable he was with death. Not just others' deaths, his own too. He spoke in pre-death terms, as if he already knew how things would end. Like he was expecting it. He often said that if something happened to him, his crew would handle it. Almost like it was already planned.
Say I'm dead, tell them to get back. Oh no, they still finna go spin for me though. They still finna spin for me. That boy got caught in rap. Yeah, nah. But say he still finna go spin for me. Whoever did that to me, we spinning on y'all.
In interviews, he was seen using Percocet, snorting a perk on camera to cope with the weight of what he was living. A sign that everything wasn't as controlled as it looked. He once described his actions as throwing away souls like dirty napkins. A line that shocked a lot of people. June 8th, 2024. The day everything caught up to him. The day everything ended. And it happened fast. Jeff and his crew slid on South Rhodes Avenue, the same street he had bragged about in his music. But this time, it wasn't like before. Surveillance footage captured the moment, and what it showed was chilling. A car pulls up, Jeff jumps out, wearing a black Nike Tech hoodie, armed and moving fast. Just another drill. Or so it seemed. He chases a man, believed to be Trap City Rob, up the steps of a house. And this is where everything changes. For a moment, it looked like just another drill, but it wasn't. But this time, he walked into something he didn't expect. As Jeff tried to follow him inside, gunfire erupted, and there was no time to react. He was hit, not once, not twice, 19 times. 19 times in the chest. An overwhelming response. The force threw him backward off the porch, and just like that, it was over. Police later recovered 58 shell casings at the scene. A level of violence that sent a message. His crew tried to save him, dragging him back to the car and rushing him to the hospital. But it was already too late. At just 21 years old, the story ended where it was always heading. Bloodhound Lil Jeff was dead. At the end of the day, Lil Jeff's story isn't just about violence. It's about how fast a life can change. How one moment, one loss, one decision can send everything in a different direction. He went from a kid with a dream to a name people feared, to another life lost at just 21. And that's the part people don't talk about enough. Because in the streets, there's no real winners, just stories that end too early. So what do you think? Was he a product of his environment? Or did he become the reason it got worse? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more stories like this, make sure you like, subscribe, and stay tuned.